nothing. Hey everybody, how's it going? I didn't put my lips on. How y'all doing? Hi baby. Hi Fonda. Hi Barbara. Hello Tracy. Hi Down South Stitcher. How y'all doing? Ugh, I can't be walking around with no lips on. I'm sorry. Oh, I hate this mirror. Hi Marzella. Oh, let me get this mic in place. Oh goodness. How's y'all's Friday going? What is wrong with my pencil? Good Lord. How is everyone doing? I'm trying to get it together and I'm not getting it together right. I was using the wrong pencil. Hi Faith. How you doing, sweetheart? Oh, whatever. I got a Powerball ticket for this $1 billion. Ooh, I need some of that. How you doing today, y'all? Hi, Cora. I am so behind in getting my act together today, so please forgive me. I need another color. This red is getting old. Thank you, Marzella, for the $20 super sticker. Bless your heart. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. Let me put this up. Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you. Oh, it is so good to have good kinfolk. Good kinfolk. You are so sweet. The love bug. Ooh, I'm spitting everywhere. I'm sorry. The love bug. How's it going? Welcome. Oh, I am so discombobulated today. Y'all, please forgive me. How was your Friday? Auntie, you are a phenomenal author and artist. I can't wait till the next. You've been reading it? You've been listening, Faith? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Barbara, I do feel much better today. I really do. That ginger ale definitely did wonders for me. Yes, thank you for asking. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Did I get everything? I didn't grab everything I'm supposed to have. Oh well. I'll be alright. No, I do need an ashtray. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, honey, take your time, Barbara. Just in your spare time. No big deal. Um, Marzella, I don't have any books for sale, but I did put that book uh for members only. So you have access. You're a member, so you have access to the book. I put it on members only. So all my members have access to it. Yes. Hi, Rose. Hi, Crystal. How you doing, sweetie? Yes, Marzella. So you don't have to buy a thing. It's not even for sale anymore. I figured I'm not gonna be able to get any more copies to sell. It's a long story. The publicist kind of did me foul, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, the love bud. And you don't even have to bother reading. You can just listen. I read the book to you. Mhm. So, today, in lieu of game night, I know we always do game night on Fridays, but two things happened. Um, Down South Stitcher, who is in the house, gave me a very, very compelling story to work on, in which we will be talking about it tonight. Um, as you saw in the topic, in the title of tonight. Hi, QT. How are you, my love? Um, the topic tonight is enough about deadbeat dads. What about deadbeat moms? When the system fails the kids. And then this Tamar thing came up again, which I didn't have any time to prepare for. But Tamar came out with a little video. So this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving between these two people, Tamar and Funky Dineva. He said yesterday, if you be quiet, I'll be quiet. If you say something, I'm going to say something. And of course, she had to say something, of course. So it is what it is. You know, I had a beautiful background set up. Let me see if I can. Oh, that ain't it. I'm not even going to try to figure it out. Let me see if I cam down what'll happen. Well, that doesn't do it either. I had a wonderful background set up and I screwed up somehow. See that? See that pretty background? I don't know what I did to where it doesn't show unless I do that or that. I could make the circle bigger, but I was playing around last night. Okay, there's that, and there's that, and there's that. I could do that. How's that, y'all? Because if I do that, it just, yeah, she needs a break from social media. She needs a break from the public, period. Because she making us tired. Oh, thank you, Faith. Thank you so much. Hi, Nadine. How goes the battle? I think I'll leave it like this. Is this okay with y'all? Okay, good. I'm going to leave it like this. But I did want to talk about this topic since we've been talking about baby Emmanuel. This fits right in line. Thank you, Nadine. I thought it was really pretty. I was getting tired of the waves, the blue, so I just decided to do something different. Trying to get used to StreamYard, period. It's confusing. Oh, music. Let me add my little music. My little music. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the kids. I wanted to talk about the fathers and the mothers. But we hear so much about deadbeat dads that we don't give enough credit to these dads that are really trying to be good fathers. You know what I mean? We got some lousy mothers out there. Lousy. Letting all kinds of stuff happen to their kids. Hi, LaWanda. Hi, Catherine. So I thought it would be most appropriate. I don't have anything prepared. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. And anybody that wants to come up and join me is free to do so as well. But along with that case of Emmanuel, there's another case. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. Case of Ezekiel Harry. And the stories are very similar. Very similar. Exactly, LaWanda. Exactly. And I'm a witness. I see it happen right here in my own family. And it ticks me off. Thank you, Faith. Faith just gifted 5 Auntie Mickey's House memberships. So whoever receives that membership, that gifted membership, please thank Faith for the gift of the membership. Unfortunately, I don't have the liberty of doling it out to anybody. That's something YouTube does randomly. So anyone who is not a member and receives a membership from Faith, please thank her. Absolutely, beloved bud. I'm a witness. I have seen it happen with my own eyes. And it's tragic. It's tragic. And it's more than a notion. And I don't generally like to get out and tell my son's business, but I don't think he'd mind if I share with you what took place several years ago. Barbara says, my grandson took custody of my great-grandsons at 1 and 2 months. I told him God was going to bless him with someone to help him raise them. He married and he got 2 more bonus children. Hallelujah. Hi, Michelle. Ain't just America, huh? You're in Australia, the love bud. Yes, we can't choose who the membership goes to. You guys are welcome in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Faye. So yeah, my son attempted to gain custody of his youngest child when he was very, very young. He's 11 now. Oh wow, Barbara, 3 of them are the same age. Ooh wee. RN2 CEO. Hello, love. How are you, sweetheart? Hello, drop in the tea. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I just thought I would share. Oh, I'm sorry, Rose. YouTube they didn't pick you this time. Maybe next time. I'm not sure if they've even been doled out yet, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. But yeah, I just my son went to get custody of his son many, many years ago when he was young. And the system is so upside down, it's sickening. Now at the time, he's a college graduate. He's got a degree. She was a little younger. She was partying. I'll just put it like that. Doing a lot of partying. Just a whole lot of extra. They gave that baby to the mother. After he went into court, he represented himself. And he did a wonderful job. I was so very proud of him. But some states lean automatically into the favor of the mother. And that's the part that bothers me, because not every mother is better than the father in these cases. And I'm not saying this because he's my son. Yeah, I'm saying it because it was the truth. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he worked. He was a health nut, you know. She was, on the other hand, out there partying and doing Facebook lives, getting high and all this other stuff. And they still gave that baby to her. They didn't even split the custody. So fast forward. Here we are today. Things worked out okay for them. They worked things out amicably between the two of them. And then some personal things happened in her life, and she asked for a favor. And when he didn't grant her the favor, because he's not responsible for her and her new child, he is responsible for his own, she got mad. Said, okay, I'm going to make you pay child support, which was stupid. He was giving more out of pocket to take care of his child than any child support would have him do. Exactly, Faith. Exactly. So she put him on child support, and guess what? You ever heard the term cut your nose off to spite your face? Hi, Retretta. How are you, my love? Oh, you said you're fine tonight. I didn't even read that part. I'm tripping. But it's just another example of how screwed up the system is when it comes down to parents. Just because she's the mother does not necessarily automatically make her the better parent. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about their situation because that's their business. But I can truly say my son really wants his son by him. So, because he needs a father in his life right now. And she's had another child since my first grandson. She's got a 2-year-old, I think. Thank you, Fonda. Thank you. You're not slow, trust me. But I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get what this concept of, oh, well, the mother, here. Exactly, Michelle. My son has flown up here 2 times in the last 4 days. From here, well, from Phoenix to here and back, and from Phoenix to here and back again, just to make sure that he takes his son to school on his first day of school. I don't know too many kids that have a father that would be willing to do that. I just don't know. And sometimes they can be so, sometimes these mothers can be so resentful that they don't have the man no more. So you're going to take it out on the child too. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Because he loves his son. He wants to raise his son. He's not trying to keep him from her or anything like that. She, on the other hand, doesn't have a problem keeping him home from school to babysit for her. I'm going to leave that part alone. But I'm just giving you a little snippet of the profile of a bad mother. Profile of a bad mother. And I'm not saying she don't love her child. And I'm not saying he loves him more. But I'm saying when you have a young boy, he needs his father in his life at a certain time. You can't deny that baby his father. But that's just one example. That's just one example. Let me turn this down. I'm very, very, very proud of my son. I was proud of my other son too that passed. He loved his boys. He loved his boys. Oh my God. Some of these deadbeat mothers just want the money from child support to go out and party and have some kind of income. And that's the sad part. People don't understand, or should I say these mothers don't understand, that child support is meant for the child. Not for you. Not for your nails. Not for your hair. Not for your makeup. Not for your trips. It's for the child. Yeah. It's sad. But now we were also talking about little Emmanuel. Little Emmanuel. And then there's the other story of Ezekiel Harry. And these two cases are very, very similar. Absolutely right. When you have children, it's not about you anymore, period. Absolutely, Tracy. Absolutely. And he's in a position he already mentors basketball players with his academy. He has a basketball academy in Phoenix. And he mentors these young men, not only in the aspect of the basketball team, but in life. You know what I'm saying? He recruits them, he mentors them, and prepares them for the future. One of his students from the past actually moved on to the NBA. I cannot pronounce this boy's name. He's not a boy, he's a man. Let me shut up. Let me write his name down. If I write his name down, Paolo is his last name. Paolo. Me too, Faith. Exactly, Michelle. It's like they do it on purpose. I don't understand. I don't understand why the courts do that. It's like they deliberately sabotage that child's life. The Love Bud has also gifted 5 memberships. To anyone that didn't get one from Faith earlier and happened to get one from the Love Bud, please, 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 please thank her for the gifted membership. Yes, Michelle. And that's the sad part about it. He was trying to hit Fonda. Did Fonda get, oh man. I heard there's a way that I can gift memberships too. I just have to look into that. I think I can gift a certain amount per month. Yes, they are, Michelle. We got some beautiful people here. Very, very giving, loving people. So I said all that to say, that we will talk about, there's not much more we can talk about with regard to Emmanuel until they, come up with some more information. Let's see. There's a press conference. Okay. I've got some latest information on little Emmanuel. Let me turn this music down. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen with you. Unfortunately, it's not a video. Let's see. Get that off the screen. Yes, the mentality passed down. You got that right. Auntie, I be seeing people gifted memberships that I never see in the chat. I don't know, Michelle. Barbara. I don't have any control over that. I wish I did have some kind of insight on who. Yeah, unless there's some sitting in the trees somewhere that aren't. I thought you had to be in the chat. You would think. I don't know how YouTube decides. I really don't. But uh let's see. Let me calm down. I'm going to share this screen with you and read. I'll read this to you. Okay. And for some reason, it's not letting me go. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Well, that doesn't look any better. I'm going to have to change something here. Let's go with this. How about that? Okay. Okay, here we go. New details emerge in death of baby Emmanuel Harrow in Southern California. This is dated today, I believe. No, yesterday. My fault. Yesterday. And there's that mother. There's that mother we were just speaking of. Rebecca Harrow appears in court for her arraignment on Tuesday, August 26th at the Riverside Hall of Justice. Harrow and her husband Jake were arrested Friday on suspicion of unaliving their son Emmanuel Harrow, who was 7 months old. And it says here, new details have emerged in the suspected killing of 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow in California's Inland Empire, as both of the infant's parents face charges of murder and lying to police. Authorities also now argue that baby Emmanuel would be alive today if a California judge had done his job properly. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, a victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries. Riverside County District Attorney Michael Hestron told a throng of reporters on Wednesday. The tragic saga started 2 weeks ago on the evening of August 14th when 41-year-old Rebecca Harrow called 911 to report that she was knocked unconscious by a strange man while changing her baby's diaper in a Big Five parking lot in, I can't pronounce that, Yucaipa. Is that correct, Barbara? Yucaipa? Yes, Faith. YouTube randomly picks. who receives those gifts, those gifted memberships. Someone said, "Hola." I couldn't even turn. I don't remember nothing. Harrow said in a desperate plea on local TV station KCAL. "I'm begging you, please. If you know anything, I'm begging you, please bring him back," she said. Here we have a picture of Arcelia Sanchez Turner from Banning. Wipes her eyes at a makeshift memorial prior to a vigil for missing 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow outside the child's Cabazon home on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. The child's parents, Rebecca and Jake Harrow, were arrested Friday morning on suspicion of murder. It took police just a day to begin questioning the accounts of Rebecca Harrow and the baby's father, 32-year-old Jake Harrow. Following a review of surveillance footage and noting inconsistencies in the parents' statements, police said that foul play couldn't be ruled out. The couple then stopped talking to authorities. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department previously said. It soon emerged that Jake Harrow had previously been convicted of child abuse. In 2018, Harrow's infant daughter from a prior marriage was taken to a hospital suffering from broken bones, a brain hemorrhage, and a skull fracture. Harrow pleaded guilty to willful child abuse in 2023, but the judge suspended his sentence, a decision that has now come under severe scrutiny. The girl is still bedridden today with permanent injuries as a result of the abuse, Hestron said. And there's the monster. Jake Harrow appears in court for his arraignment on Tuesday, August 26th at the Riverside Hall of Justice. Harrow and his wife, Rebecca, were arrested Friday on suspicion of killing their son, Emmanuel Harrow, who is 7 months old. Sick. On Friday, both parents were arrested, and authorities announced that baby Emmanuel was believed to be dead. Based on the evidence, investigators determined a kidnapping in Yucaipa did not occur. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said it is believed Emmanuel is deceased and the search to recover his remains is ongoing. Jake Harrow was then seen being led through a dusty Moreno Valley hillside in an orange jumpsuit in an apparent search for the baby's remains, which were not found. Jake and Rebecca Harrow have now both been charged with murder, with malice, and making a false police report. The case drew intense curiosity and speculation from true crime bloggers as stories emerged that Jake Harrow allegedly confessed to a prison informant that he killed his son and disposed of his body in the trash, a claim that was dismissed by Hestron in Wednesday's press conference. Now, this here is an aerial view of a law enforcement operation underway Friday morning on August 22nd at the Cabazon home of 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow, who has been missing for just over a week. Jake and Rebecca Harrow, the parents of Emmanuel Harrow, were taken into custody. This is what happens when you've got all these folks out there online and these keyboard warriors. You get a lot of misinformation, and what you just said is not true. Hestron responded to a reporter's question on the alleged jailhouse confession. I'm giving you information about baby Emmanuel. I'm giving you information about the cases and the investigation, but what you just said did not happen. So basically, what he's saying is that this confession to a prison informant did not happen. And that was reported by someone online on YouTube. It was an outrageous. Oh, wait a minute. Outside of the illegal. Where did I go? Okay. Authorities have not yet shared details on where, when, and how they suspect Emmanuel died. Investigators said on Wednesday that they have some ideas as to where Emmanuel's remains are as the search continues. You know what, Barbara? You're saying you're telling the truth right there. Outside of the alleged abuse and killing of a baby boy by his own parents, anger has been pointed at the actions of the judge who suspended Jake Harrell's previous sentence and a perceived failure of the California justice system. It was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. I don't have any problem saying that, Hestron said. If that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. That's a shame, and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. And here we have a makeshift memorial for baby Emmanuel. Exactly, Faith. A lot of these prison informants do lie so they can be released. And they'll never get to the bottom of the story because of the lies. And not only that, side note, spoiler alert, some of these informants is right here on YouTube working off their prison time. No, they have not found this baby. They have not found this baby, Bud. They believe the baby has been killed. Exactly, Barbara. These parents didn't even take this baby to the doctor. He didn't have immunizations, nothing. Nothing. And this is what infuriates me about some of these parents. And in this case, I'm talking about as a mother. If I got to choose between my husband and my child when there's a baby involved and that baby cannot provide for himself or herself, I'm sorry. The man gonna have to step aside. But a good man is gonna stay there and help you with that child. But if that man is causing harm to that child, it's time for him to go before he get gone in another way. You don't beat on no baby. You just don't do that. And as a woman, as a mother, you don't stand there and let no man do that to your baby, whether he's the father or not. Absolutely, Faith. You know, them CIs, they get them short sentences for their crimes, and they get let out early so they can be CIs, confidential informants. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, moving on. Oh my goodness. Visitors gather around a makeshift memorial prior to a vigil for missing 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrell outside the child's Cabazon home on Friday, August 22nd. The child's parents, Rebecca and Jake Harrell, were arrested Friday morning on suspicion of murder. During Wednesday's press conference, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco found some hope amid the grim case. The public's overwhelming reaction 2 weeks ago on learning that a 7-month-old was in danger. The enormous anger that a child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered. It warms my heart a little that there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people, the sheriff said. There is absolutely nothing worse than harming a baby. Amen to that. Jake and Rebecca Harrell are next due in court on September 4th. Bail is set at $1 million, and I believe that is $1 million each. That part right there. Oh. So with that said, why are they kidnapping babies if they don't want them? Exactly. Exactly. Right there. Exactly. I'm just playing around with my layout now. Don't pay me no mind. So now we have another case. It's a little bit older, and I'd never heard of this. But shout out to Down South Stitcher, who emailed me this story, and it's just as awful. Yes, I do, Lawanda. You hear it in my nose. I got this fan on me, so that happens sometimes. I'm going to share this story with you. I pulled this up on TikTok. Here we go.
This is the heartbreaking true story of Ezekiel Harry, a 2-year-old boy whose body was dumped in a trash can by his own mother. That being said, I do want to give a trigger warning right off the bat that this case involves the unaliving of a minor, so if you think that is going to be harmful for your
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. This is going to be, I won't say graphic, but it's not nice. Barbara says they better be glad they were arrested in Riverside County because San Bernardino County bail would have been 5 times more because SB County has the highest bail rate in the U.S. And the rest of them need to follow suit, especially in the case of a child. So I'm just letting y'all know, trigger warning.
warning right off the bat that this case involves the unaliving of a minor,
Can you
so we
guys
think
hear
that it's going
this?
to be harmful
Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear this clearly. I had problems with the sound yesterday, and I've got it turned up as far as it can go. I can see if I can. Exactly. How is bail an option? Let me see if I can turn this up just a tad bit more. Audio, audio. Okay. Let's see if this does the trick.
for your mental health in any way. Please don't watch this video, just skip it, and I will see you in my next one. Also, a disclaimer that I am just a girl, I am not a lawyer. Any of this information is free on the internet and accessible to everyone. If you happen to know more about a case than I do, and if any of this information is not correct, please just politely correct me in the comments. Don't be mean to me. Thank you. In July of 2022, 2-year-old Ezekiel Harry disappeared from the streets of Huma, Louisiana. Huma, I hope I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not. His mother, Maya Jones, was 28 years old and called police saying that her son had been abducted by a stranger in a gray truck. But investigators immediately saw something wrong with her story. They knew that something was a bit off because instead of aiding in a search, Maya and her boyfriend Jermaine Robbins, who was 27 years old, were spotted on surveillance cameras carrying a black duffel bag 1 mile to a dumpster and then dumping that duffel bag in the dumpster. That's suspicious. That's weird. Red flags, hello. And investigators were right to not trust Maya's story because later that day, Ezekiel's body was found in that black duffel bag that was in that trash can that Maya and Jermaine put that exact black duffel bag into. Authorities determined that he had been unalived from severe blunt force trauma to the head. It was officially ruled a homicide by the coroner's office. A month later, in August of 2022, a grand jury indicted both Maya and Jermaine on charges of first degree and obstruction of justice. Both pleaded not guilty and are facing penalty eligible charges. Their trials are scheduled separately. Maya's was scheduled for July of 2024 and Jermaine's was scheduled for August of 2024. But as of right now, I couldn't find any information on official sentences, so all I can say is that their trials have not concluded in any official sentences towards them. Reportedly, neighbors had spoke out saying that police responded to multiple welfare checks at the home in the years leading up to Ezekiel's passing, and that they had reported hearing screams from the home, not just typical 2-year-old screams like temper tantrums or anything like that, but actual fearful screams from a child. According to court motions submitted in late 2023, statements from Ezekiel's siblings had confirmed prior abuse to the child, and prosecutors alleged that punishment over, quote, potty training accidents had escalated into violence that ultimately led to his passing. Stories like this make me so upset because you have to know what you're signing up for when you have a child. You have to help them develop life skills, and that includes potty training. And if you're getting so upset over potty training and little minuscule things that your child does that you would unalive him and then throw his body in a trash can, there is something seriously wrong with you. Ezekiel's family describes him as a toddler who was full of life, smiling, playful, bold, and loving hugs and kisses from his loved ones. On the 2-year anniversary of his passing, his father and grandmother spoke out about the loss and heartbreak. His unaliving ripped the community apart, but it also inspired statewide change about how abuse cases are handled. Lawmakers in Louisiana passed Ezekiel's Law in 2023. This legislation mandates better communication and coordination between social service agencies, aiming to prevent another tragedy like Ezekiel's from ever happening again. Ezekiel's tragic story is a constant reminder that sometimes danger comes from inside the home. Thank you so much for listening to Ezekiel's story. I want to know your thoughts on this case in the comments. It is, again, absolutely so wild to me that a parent could do this to their own child.
Isn't that awful? That is absolutely awful. How could a parent do that to their own child? And it's really unfortunate because this particular story has been going on for a couple years now, and they still haven't started the trial. They still haven't started the trial. What's the holdup? That beautiful baby is gone. They tossed that baby in the garbage. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm gonna play you this police press conference on the death of this child. I'm trying to see how long ago this was. This is, I believe, the initial press conference. Okay? So give me just a moment. Okay.
I took my spot. No. Okay, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming to this press conference here at 11 o'clock. I want to start off by, first of all, sending condolences to the family of 2-year-old Ezekiel Harry. To start things off, I'd like to thank our law enforcement partners here with their extended assistance to our agency, not just during this investigation, but other investigations as well. Also, to the citizens within our community, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to them for their support and assistance rendered during yesterday's search of 2-year-old Ezekiel Harry. On yesterday around 12 noon, our agency received a call about a possible abduction within the area of East Houma, nearby Terrebonne and Marla Street. It was initially reported that a subject in a gray vehicle took Maya Jones's 2-year-old child while she was near the waterway with her children. Based on the information released by Maya Jones and intel received by law enforcement, we were able to immediately learn that her accounts of what was being reported were false. At this point, our investigators suspected foul play, and it was our immediate goal to find 2-year-old Ezekiel Harry. As you all know, around 6 p.m., we located the lifeless body of Ezekiel Harry on Dasper Street. As our investigation continued, Maya Jones was thoroughly interviewed, where numerous inconsistencies in her allegations were discovered.
Y'all heard that, right? Let me back up just a little bit.
Around 6 p.m., we located the lifeless body of Ezekiel Harry on Dasper Street. As our investigation continued, Maya Jones was thoroughly interviewed, where numerous inconsistencies in her allegations were discovered. Representatives from the Houma Police Department, the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police, the Houma City Marshal's Office, United States Coast Guard, Dularge Fire Department.
This took place in Louisiana, Barbara. Down in Louisiana. Houma, Houma. Houma, Louisiana. Hi, Camille. Amen, Rose. I truly thank God to be a grandmother too. And I thank God for my grandmother and grandfather. The Love Bud says, what gets me is how many stories we are seeing now, everywhere. So many beautiful babies being let down in the worst way by their parents, their protectors, regardless of circumstances. It's on them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some folks just shouldn't be having babies. If you're going to have babies and you can't be with the father, unless you find you a good man an upstanding man, it might be best that you just raise them children by yourself, because some of these women put these men first. That makes them deadbeat moms. Everybody want to talk about deadbeat dads, but nobody want to talk about that deadbeat mom that'll put a man before their children. Put a man who ain't even the father before their children. See, way back in the day, y'all know what I'm talking about. If and I didn't really have to do this, but many women who didn't stay with their husbands and ended up raising their kids on their own, you didn't bring no man in your house. Not a good woman, at least. Okay, Michelle, you do that, honey. You do what you got to do, sweetheart. Okay, sweetie, just catch the replay. Okay. Ain't doing shit for them, Faith. Let's just say, I'm going to say the word. Ain't doing shit for them. Absolutely. But these women that break up with the man, and they so hard up to get a man in their life that they have a revolving door going in and out of their house, and their kids, all they see is these different men coming in and out of their house. What kind of example are you setting for your children? What kind of example are you setting for your children? Your little girls, you don't know if that fool might touch your little baby girl. Might not. He might touch a baby boy inappropriately. They don't give these men no time to show what kind of man they are. They so hot to trot and pop them in that bed and spread it out wide and down low. You just got to get some. You don't think your kids aren't paying attention to that? Absolutely, Faith. That's old school. Unfortunately, a lot of these young ladies nowadays, they don't look at it like that. They don't look at it like that. They figure, oh, he's cool. He'll get me my nails done. He'll get my hair done. My hair done. I'll get my lace front set up. Yes, and I'm gonna go down there to Nordstrom or go down there to that Mac store and have the Mac people do my makeup up so I can look good. They ain't thinking nothing about them kids. All they care about is the next dick swinging. I'm gonna tell it like it is. I'm not having church tonight. This is real. Barbara said, my 3-year-old is so much like me. When he does some things, I will turn my head and chuckle. Our birthdays are 5 days apart, and boy, he is so stubborn but sweet. Because he's being raised right, Barbara. He's around you. He's your little mini you. Rose said, I've seen women feed their men before they feed their children and give them beans and give him steak. Exactly. But you know what the thing about that is, Rose? That used to be a custom way back in the day. But the difference is that man was the one providing for those families. He was entitled to eat first in the eyes of, in the home structure. You see what I'm saying? But that man was the one going out there and making the bacon and bringing it home. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. If you gotta look in them streets for a man and he live at home with his mama, keep going. Keep going. I'm not saying he ain't a good man. He ain't a good man for you if you got kids. That's right. But now these young girls, they'll let some dude come in, you know, and he ain't brought nothing in the house. And truth be told, some of them can't even cook. Some of these girls can't even cook. But, oh, I'm going to DoorDash something. Come on, baby. Come on over. Yeah, Barbara. A real man would say that, especially for some children that ain't his. But we living in some different times, too. The Love Bug says, I got told 30 years ago no baby/child should ever be left alone with any man that is not their father. That person worked in Melbourne's busiest emergency ward. I'm just saying. Amen to that. Can't boil water without burning it. Can't boil water without burning it. Ain't took 5 minutes for a cooking class of any kind. Because they think that their greatest attribute is between their legs. They believe that their best attribute is between their legs. Not realizing that a coochie come a dime a dozen. And to a man, ain't no such thing as no bad coochie. Coochie is coochie. Feed your kids. You want to impress a man? Feed your kids first. Maybe that'll inspire him to get out and get something so he can bring it home. I'm sorry, I done got all off track. Let me play the rest of this video. Oh, I digress.
As well as wildlife and fisheries and other agencies and private businesses rendered resources to assist with the search of Ezekiel Harry. After locating the lifeless body of Ezekiel Harry on Dasper Street, he was located in a black duffel bag disposed of in a garbage can. Discovery of this precious child was a result of numerous experienced investigators from the aforementioned agencies who were driven to see this investigation through. During this intense investigation, surveillance images were recovered showing Maya Jones and Jermaine Robinson leaving the area of Cartier Street. And if you can look on the screen behind us, this is a surveillance image of Maya Jones and Jermaine Robinson leaving the area of Cartier Street. I know it's a little grainy, but in that video, if you can see where the mouse is, Maya Jones and Jermaine Robinson is carrying a lifeless body of Ezekiel Harry in a black duffel bag.
Okay. I should have paid attention to my own trigger warning. They got these two on camera dumping this body. This is so sad. Absolutely, Camille, under the jail. Faith says, I remember when Krishan Rock was on that podcast and he asked that young lady, what can she do good? And she said the F word. This is what kind of young people we are having babies that are having babies nowadays. Yeah, and we can, y'all see what, I'm not trying to, Lord forgive me. Krishan Rock, Krishan Rock's baby. That's all I'm going to say. I remember seeing Krishan Rock when she was pregnant with that baby and she was out drinking and getting high and drinking and dancing late at night, just big old belly in front of her. Did it surprise anybody the way that baby turned out? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she don't love her baby. But that was a level of irresponsibility that was just beyond measure. I believe she truly does love her baby. But because she was so busy kicking it, because I got some good stuff. Yeah, my stuff is good. Fast forward, daddy's in prison. You doing this by yourself now. Didn't she have to move out of his house? I might be wrong. I know she was living there in his house when he got locked up. And I believe eventually they ended up putting her out. Sick, 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 sick. But this right here, they got these parents. Well, I won't say parents because the mother is the mother. The guy is the boyfriend. Oh, yeah, Barbara, I've heard of that happening too. Some of them shake them babies just to get disability benefits. She said, pimped by the church, huh? Faith. But this is sad right here. This man that she done hooked up with ain't no man. Because they are together disposing of a lifeless body of a baby, of a boy. Sad. It's mm-mm.
As you can see on the next slide,
Oh, Jesus.
there's also another image of Maya and Jermaine near a business. And as you can see, they also still have the black bag. Around 5 a.m.,
You notice who's carrying the bag? What a gentleman. Not. You see who's carrying that bag? It ain't him, is it? There's the bag right there. She's carrying that bag. He's such a bum that he can't even carry the bag for her. Wow.
of Maya and Jermaine near a business. And as you can see, they also still have the black bag. Around 5 a.m., those individuals returned to the area of Cartier Street. And as you can see in the still photo up on the screen behind us, they no longer have the black bag. On July 12th, when we received this report, shortly before the incident was reported to us, we obtained images of Maya Jones carrying an infant carrier along with her 3 other children walking near Bayou Terrebonne, which is adjacent to the neighborhood of Marla Street. We've learned when these images were captured, the carrier was empty. As a result of our investigation and the hard work and dedication representatives with each of these departments up here, Maya Jones, who was already in police custody, Jermaine Robinson, who was taken into custody a short distance from Bayou Terrebonne where we were searching, was arrested for 1 count of first-degree murder, obstruction of justice, and both was transported to our local jail to be booked accordingly. One thing I want to say is that each one of our partners here, and I'm going to say it again, send condolences to the family of Lil Ezekiel Harry. As you can see, a precious gift within our community was taken from us.
Oh, look at him.
Children like this make up a small percentage of our population, but they are definitely 100%
Look at
of
that
our
little
future.
boy.
The
Look
future of
at
Ezekiel
him.
Harry is taken away from us by these 2, Maya Jones and Jermaine Robinson. With that being said, I'm gonna open up for any questions you all may have. Yes.
Was there any history of child abuse in this household?
Well, that is being looked at as we continue our investigation.
Just a little side note. Other reports did state that neighbors heard screams from their house on several occasions, and they weren't just regular screams of a toddler throwing a tantrum. I believe it was quoted that they said that these screams were screams of terror and fear from a child. This is what the neighbors reported. There were wellness checks done on their homes. This is why I'm saying the system fails these children. It ain't that these parents just got up one day and said, you know what? I don't want to be I keep saying parents. This mother said one day, I don't want to be a mother anymore. No, this was not the case. This was not no spur of the moment thing. This baby was being abused regularly, very much like Emmanuel. Neighbors were interviewed. Sick.
The body of Ezekiel Harry is now in the custody of our coroner, and we do suspect that there was some physical abuse that led to the death of Ezekiel Harry. But like I said, that's still being investigated.
Is there any motive that we know of yet?
Still under investigation.
We haven't found them just yet.
Not yet. Still under investigation.
And so was it those images that led to you guys finding this trash can where this child was found?
That led through some cooperation with one of those individuals, as well as some experienced investigators that was conducting these interviews.
You get false information about a situation like this. How long does it usually take to find out if it's true or false?
That has to be determined. Whenever we get these types of reports, I mean, we dot our I's, cross our T's. You would hope that whoever making these reports are telling you the truth. But when you start poking holes into these stories, I mean, it sends red flags, and that's when we, turn our focus into another gear.
Like problems with her story from the initial interrogations of her, or was it the fact that people called in, offering some information as to problems with the child, problems in the home, problems with her story early on?
Well, we had problems with a story from the onset. There were some things that she was releasing to us that I'm not going to get into in this press conference, but as we talked to her, um, we just found several holes in her story, stuff that didn't line up with what she was telling us,
Mm.
and immediately we suspected foul play.
Wow.
Our investigators did. She led us to them.
What makes these people think that they smarter than the police? Yes, to love Bud. You took the words right out of my mouth. Here's part of the problem right here. Let me put this up. I believe a huge problem nowadays is there is no community. Remember when it took a village? No one gets involved with their neighbors. It's sad. And that is so true. That is, and I mean, that's worldwide, but I can specifically state that is true right here in America. Coming up back in the day, you knew your neighbor next to you on your right, your left, across the street, kitty corner, down the street. Everybody knew everybody. Oh, yeah, Faith. I remember them butt whoopings. One of the neighbors might have caught you doing something. They'd whoop your tail, then send you home, and you got another one. And you better not say boo about it. You better not say boo about it. That's what made us respect our elders and respect our neighbors. Because number one, we were taught to respect our elders, but number two, we didn't want no butt whoopings. And you called your neighbors by their last name. Miss this, miss that, not by their first names. You address them with respect. Exactly, Retretta. If you correct a child, a woman want to get in your face and want to fight you. If you correct a child these days, exactly. I face this in daycare. I tell them straight up before they even come here. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing with your child. Now, I don't have to put my hands on your child, but I'm going to treat your child the same way I would treat my own. And I ain't got to say nothing. I can give them that look. Remember that look? Everybody was your mama. Thank you, Nadine. Absolutely, Faith. But nowadays, you say something to somebody's child out there in the street. I've seen so many kids throwing tantrums in the store, and the mother's like, now, little Joey, you'll get the candy, but you're gonna have to calm down. No, you need to take little Joey out there to that car and get him right. I'm not saying kill him. I'm not saying beat him half to death. You know what I'm saying. Exactly, Faith. But see, as a child care provider, I'm not allowed to put my hands on a child in that manner. So I make it a point to understand. See, I don't have to yell at you. These kids know I love them. I'll do the world for them. But they know in the tone of my voice. See, they don't want to find out if this woman's crazy. There was a way that we could communicate with kids and they would be not afraid, but just apprehensive to getting out of pocket. But you got to get these kids young, not when they're 3 and 4 or 5 years old. You got to get these babies before they start walking. Oh, no, 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 baby, don't you do that. You go have a seat. Go sit your behind down. Sit your behind down. And if you don't stop all that crying, you ain't going to get to do this, that, and the third. Now, test me. That's my other peeve. Manners seem a thing of the past, so important and yet lacking in today's world. In my day, I would never, and you right, Auntie, my mother only had to give me a look. How many of y'all got that look today? Excuse me, little boy. Would go sit your tail down over there right now. I didn't stutter. Sit your behind down over there. Get you some get right and you can get back up. Absolutely, Camille. I remember when I would get in trouble, the neighbors would spank me and then I get another spanking when I got home. But see, that's when it was allowed back then because people knew they knew how far they could go. Too many people, if you gave them that authority today, somebody would definitely take it overboard. And then, yes, I would have to go upside their head. But number one, we knew each other. That's the first step. You know each other, and you will trust your children to do the right thing around the people that you know, because you know that these people that you're associated with in your neighborhood, in your community, you guys all have the same mindset. Respect starts at home. Respect starts at home. And if you see Miss Johnson down the street and you know that that's my friend and she knows what you're not allowed to do, trust and believe Miss Johnson gonna check you, boo-boo. We could do that then, but nobody knows anybody no more. So these young parents come along, they want to tell you what to do and how to do it, and ain't raised nothing but their legs. I ain't gotta spank my kids, my grandkids. My boys, I would wear their behinds out when they got out of line. And when I say wear them out, I don't mean leaving marks all over them and throwing them all upside the walls and all that stuff. No, it didn't take all that. It didn't take all that. By the time they turned 5 and 6, they wasn't even getting butt whoopings no more. Because they knew better. You got to catch them early. Instill the fear of God in them. Exactly, Barbara. And back then it wasn't considered child abuse. It was called correcting your child. But see, that's what part of the problem is. The system has gotten all infiltrated into the school system. They done took God out of everything, and just everything is that they done told the kids if your mama smack you on the behind, you can call 911 and she can go to jail. What? I wish one of my kids would, when I was coming up or when I was raising mine, I wish they would call the police on me. Call them. Here. Here's the phone. Call them. Please. The problem begins at home. The problem begins with your own mentality. The problem begins with the own. If you cannot come to some conclusion or come to some kind of way to deal with your children that will, number one, not physically hurt them or mentally hurt them, but correct them. And not only that, get them to understand the word respect and how to exercise it. These parents nowadays don't have no respect. So the kids don't have respect because they're not being taught respect. They're being taught fear. There's a difference. Now, back as kids, yes, we probably feared the butt whooping. You got that part right. Children are raising children. Somebody dropped the ball. Somebody has dropped the ball in that they believe just because they had kids, their life ain't over. They can still have fun and kick it. Exactly, Faith. They don't want to sacrifice. You can't tell them nothing. But they want your help, though. Oh, yeah, they want your help. Miss Mickey, can you watch my kids while I go on vacation? No. I'm a day care provider. The operative word being day. In other words, you take your child somewhere else at night. What it look like I'm watching your kids so you can go on vacation. I deserve a vacation too. It's time for you to pay your dues. When I had kids, I didn't have a vacation until my kids was old enough to go on vacation with me to Disneyland or Magic Mountain. Everybody want to go on vacation. Nobody want to pay no time. They don't want to pay no dues in raising kids. Sometimes you got to give up some stuff. You got to give up some shit. I'm going to say it like it is. Oh, Faith, trust me, I was in that era and I made my mistakes big time. Me and my husband made them mistakes. But you know what? One thing I did, I never put my kids off on nobody else. Even when I was homeless. Even when I was homeless. And I was the reason that we were homeless. That was on me and the mistakes that I made. But one thing is for sure. I didn't pawn my kids off on nobody. And my kids didn't do without. Ever. No, that crack problem back in the 80s, That destroyed a lot of generations to come. But it was because it was instilled in me. No matter what you do in life, those are yours. Those are yours. And I loved them so much that I did without the very thing that I craved the most. I loved them more. Same with their daddy. And we made a choice one day. We love this family more than we love that mess out there in that pipe. And it took for us to go to God himself and say, Lord, take this taste out of my mouth. Take it away. I can't do this by myself. For the sake of my children, not even for the sake of me, but for the sake of my children. I cannot be a good mother unless I'm good for my children. So please take this away from me. And had it not been for him, I never set foot in a rehab. I never set foot in a rehab. I've seen people that I went to school with dropping dead along the years that never got off of that stuff. Oh, but God. That's what young people need to hear. Anybody can overcome something if they put it in the right hands. And I had enough reason to put it in the right hands. My kids. I did it more for my kids than I did it for myself. But God showed me, if I don't love me, I can't love nothing else right. So I had to shift that love toward myself so I could do it for my kids. But even through all of that, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn by any means, but I thank God for my grandparents. My grandparents rode me and rode me. I thought that they were just the meanest people, but they taught me. They taught me what life is really going to be about. And life ain't always about gimme, gimme, gimme. It ain't about all that gimme, gimme. Sometimes you got to give to get. And sometimes what you get may not even seem like it was even worth all the giving. But guess what? You will in due time, you gonna reap what you sow. You gonna reap what you sow. If you throw out garbage, you gonna get garbage. But I thank God what my grandparents instilled in me. They instilled in me discipline. They instilled in me love, but they instilled in me discipline. And they were not shy to hug me or kiss me. They were not shy to do that. So I in turn gave that to my kids. And that love felt a whole lot better when they received it than had they not. But I never put my kids off on nobody else. My kids never spent one night with my father. Those are my children, my responsibility. How am I going to ask this man, oh, you want to watch the kids? He didn't watch me. How am I going to expect him to watch my kids? He didn't raise me. How am I expect him to raise my kids? Those are my kids. I thank God for my father too. I thank God for my father because he showed me what not to do. He showed me what not to do as a parent. Because when you become a parent, you don't turn your back on your children under any circumstances. So I can say it with my chest. I have no regrets. I have no regrets whatsoever on how I raised my kids. So when I close my eyes for the last time in this life, my son that's left, he can speak with a smile over his mama. My husband can speak over me with a smile over his wife. I don't have no regrets. Thank you, prophetic proverbs. I owe this to you too because of our conversation last weekend. So I say all this to say, and I'm going to go on back to this video. I got to get myself together. But enough is not being done in the community. Number one, we have not gathered together as a community. Neighbors don't know neighbors. Kids don't know other people's kids. Some of the people here in my own neighborhood, they don't know my name. I know theirs. But I thank God he instilled that neighborly thing in me and my husband. We love people. We love children. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna take your children off your hands. No, that's not my job. My job is as a daycare provider, not a rescuer or being a lazy woman that don't want to take care of her kids. That's not my job. But I thank God for my grandparents. I thank God for my father. I even thank God for my mother for walking away when I was 6 months old. Y'all may not understand that, but she did me a favor. Had it not been for her walking away, I don't know where I'd be. And life ain't always been easy, but I learned some things, some very valuable things that will pass on from generation to generation to generation. It does take a village to raise these kids, and it takes generations to raise these kids. You can't drop the ball just because, oh, well, it's time for me to party. I've served some time. I'm tired. I've been working this job for the last 6, 7 months. I ain't gone nowhere. Nope. Sit down and raise your kids. Sit down and raise your kids. Thank you, DeLove Bug. I didn't know this is your first live. I didn't know this was your first live, sweetheart, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this because I'll sit up here and run my mouth all night. Let me go ahead and start this video back up.
Idea how long she walked around.
I'll be right back.
In the duffel bag.
We thinking between maybe a 2-hour window, possibly a 2-hour window.
Anytime you have a death of a child and you guys are trying to work to try to find that child because you don't know if they're alive or not, how much resources go into something like this?
Lots of resources. Lots of resources. We pool our resources together. We may wear different uniforms, but we all have one mission. A problem that's in the city of Houma is not just our issue. We all come together to solve these issues.
And neighbors had told me earlier they've reached out saying that they've heard arguments and children crying. Have you guys seen any reports from CPS or police from other neighbors complaining about this going on?
That's still being looked at by our investigators.
Do you know the exact cause of that?
No, we don't. That's still being looked at by our coroner.
What was Jermaine Robinson's relationship to this child?
What's her living boyfriend?
Boyfriend? Is he, do we know if he's the boy's father?
He's not the boy's father.
The other children who were walking with her in the original release, is that the boyfriend's children, or is that
That's her children.
Ezekiel's father's children?
That's Ezekiel's father's children. Yes.
Do you know where the body was dumped and anything to the family, or if they specifically chose this trash can?
That's being investigated. Yes.
I have a question for the district attorney if you have a second. The first degree murder is eligible for death if convicted. Are you going to be pushing for that?
Well, first of all, let me start off from the get-go. Let me offer my condolences to this family. This case has rocked our community. Anytime in the life of a very innocent, beautiful child such as Ezekiel is taken, it just crushes this, our entire family community. So first of all, my condolences. Secondly, to the good law enforcement detective work done by all the agencies here. These guys got on it. They found the inconsistencies early on, and they were able to make this case in relatively short order. So congratulations to them. As far as the prosecution of this thing, this is absolutely a potential death penalty case. We are aware of abusive patterns in the past involving this young child. Some of the stuff that early on investigations show, it just shocks the conscious that this type of abuse would go on. And it certainly would establish that this case is potentially a death penalty case. My office's practice and procedure is to meet with the family. I want the entire investigative report that we can make an educated decision with the families and the input of the families. The wants and desires of the family is very, very important to me. So that is a decision we will make at some point in the future. In all probability, this case will be taken to the grand jury in relatively short order. And I anticipate first-degree murder indictments on both.
Does the murder charge mean no indication that this was just a problem?
Mhm.
Was it a story?
Yes. Anybody else?
Can you say whether the mother has given you any information, Chief,
Okay.
about the method of killing? Is she cooperating at all with you all?
She cooperated with the discovery of Ezekiel, but the what occurred to Ezekiel is still being investigated. Yes, sir. Anything else?
Is this the first time that a situation like this has happened here in Houma?
No, this is not the first time. We have our share of issues here.
Chief, I guess there are people who say that there were problems in the household. They've reached out to us. They're on social media. What do you want to say to people who may feel that they live near a situation where children are in danger?
If you see something, say something.
Exactly.
If you make a report and you see something not being handled accordingly, by all means, push that envelope. Reach out to your law enforcement professionals because we are here for those innocent kids. One comment I said yesterday is we had several hundred of years experience.
Let me interject in this. Let me interject something in here. Now, what he said was all fine. What he said was all fine. If you see something, say something. You just got to say it to the right people. Because talking about people and really reporting something are two different things. And if you're going to report it to the authorities, lean on them. Make them do their jobs. See, it's easy to say if you see something, say something. Yeah, you can say something all over until you're blue in the face. But if you ain't telling it to the right people, it's null and void. And even then, when you tell the police, you got to lean on these people to do their jobs. This court system, you can't just take somebody to court. You got to lean. You can't just report to the police. You got to lean on these police. And well, what you just said may be true, Faith, but we got to get that demon of fear out of us. That's another problem with the community. We have this no snitch policy, especially in the Black and Hispanic community. A lot of young folks don't want to be marked as a snitch. Okay, I get it. That's my point, Faith. The people that you think are right are failing the children. And the people that are put in power to do something are failing the children. The system is failing the children. But we have to become part of that system. We have to do this. It's a sacrifice. But nevertheless, we have to do it. These neighbors heard the screams from this little boy. They reported it. They thought what they were doing was right. And in all sense and purposes, they were. But it wasn't enough. Because the police went over there, looked around, everything looked fine. They went on about their business. They got a baby in a duffel bag in a garbage bag. It does. It does seem overwhelming to many. It's only overwhelming because only a selected few are taking the initiative to do the right thing. Our culture for so many years has seen something and looked the other way because they don't want to get involved. They don't want no heat. They don't want no heat on them. They don't want the heat. If people took on the same mentality that our people did back in the civil rights movement when they were fighting for their freedom to ride on the front of the bus, if they took that same mentality today and applied it to these children, damn the butt whooping you might get. And I'm not saying somebody might get a butt whooping from the police, but I'm saying the psychological butt whooping. Those people back in the civil rights movement, they put their tails on the line for freedom. We are incumbent to do the same thing, but for different reasons, different people, babies, children. Make these police do their job. They had a different fight back there in the 60s. They was fighting racism. They were fighting Jim Crow. They were fighting racist cops, racist police. I mean, racist judicial system, racist everything. They were fighting that, and they took ass whoopings all the time, marching in the streets. Now, we don't have to march like that anymore for our freedom, but maybe we need to march our tail down to that police station as a community when we know that there's something going on in this house over here with these two people and this little boy or this little girl down the street who seems to be scared to death to be around men. And we all see that little girl at some point in time, and she cringes when she gets around a man. Not just one man, but all men. We need to march, but we don't need to march down there. We shall overcome. That ain't what I'm talking about. Exactly, Fonda. You want to go on vacation, take your babies with you. Make it a family vacation. But I'm talking about the community as well. Thank you, Faith. That is the comment of the day. If we fight for our children as bad as we fight for that bag, then our children will be okay. Hello, Magnificent. Oh, nothing happened. Nothing happened, sweetheart. Everything is hunky-dory. But that's what we got to do. We got to fight for these babies. They can't fight for themselves. And if you see something, like the officer said, if you see something, say something. But don't just stop there. Make these police officers accountable. The love bug said the saddest thing I see on YouTube is real people that are making change, like Lynn's Warriors will only have 10 people in her chat. She's in Washington lobbying for children 24/7 and no one cares. That's true. Right now I got 28 people in the chat. It was 32. But when I was going toe to toe with Maggie, I was having 100 and some odd people because people like mess. That's what these YouTube streets attract. A lot of mess. Nothing of substance. There's a lot of people here on YouTube that look at it as entertainment. Not getting much out of it other than a good laugh that somebody got dragged. And I can drag somebody just as good as the next person, but that's not what I came here for. And occasionally I may have to do so. Rose says, unfortunately, when you report a crime, they come to the house of the person that reported the crime, and then the offender know who you are, and it's scary. That's why you got to lean on these popos. You got to lean on these police, and you got to lean on God too to make sure that you're in line with His will. Yeah, they love drama. And I ain't gonna lie, I love my entertainment too. But there's a time and place for everything. It ain't all about the YouTube dollars. If I was here for the money, I'd have gave it up a long time ago. I'm not here for the money. But we got to do something besides sitting here and talking about it in chat rooms and on the phone with sister so and so down the street. You know, there's just too much being observed and no action being taken behind it. And it ain't like you got to jump out there in front of traffic and do all that, but you can make people be accountable for their jobs. Jobs as a parent, jobs as a family member, jobs as a neighbor, jobs as a police officer, job as a congressman, a job as a senator, an ombudsman. This world is going to hell in a handbasket. Thank you, Down South Stitcher. I appreciate it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Law enforcement that was out searching for this innocent child. Even with the hundreds and hundreds of years of experience, whatever happened to little Ezekiel Harry happened in the safe haven of his home. Places that we only enter when we're caught. We patrol the streets day in and day out, but we're only called to these homes and enter these homes when we're called. So whatever happened to this innocent child, we suspect may have happened in his safe haven.
And lastly, what would you say to the family that you guys are trying to find justice for this 2-year-old boy?
Continue supporting your law enforcement. We're here for you. They were extremely cooperative with us yesterday. My heart breaks for what happened to this kid. We all have children within our family around this age, and they're innocent. They look up to parents for support. They look up to parents to be nurtured. And this what we endured yesterday just rocked out. So, no further ado. Thank you all for attending this press conference. If you have anything else, I can talk to you.
A question about the other kids. Where are they going to be going to, or what's going to be done with them?
They were being talked to by DCFS, and I don't know the outcome of the deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Possibly with the parents or the mother and the boy record.
Do they have a record?
Go back, I think the boyfriend does have some previous history. Maybe a loss of felony, his past history. I don't recall anything on the mother. You never been felonies alone? No, not specific, not without having any.
Thank y'all.
You have a quick question for you.
Yeah. It's just images.
Okay. That was the press conference 3 years ago. And here we are, 2025. They still haven't they still haven't gone to trial. Here's the father of that little boy.
Life's better when your stuff is protected under our roof.
Let me see if this is
For the
the
first
right.
time, the father of 2-year-old Ezekiel Harry is speaking to WGNO News. Harry was killed last week before being dumped in a trash can in Houma. Investigators say he died of severe blunt force trauma. The boy's mother and mother's boyfriend are both facing first-degree murder charges. WGNO's Jordan Lippincott spoke with the father about how he's coping.
As Trey Christopher Harry is surrounded by his children, one is missing, and that's 2-year-old Ezekiel.
I just wish I could get my son back. I mean, there's not enough money in the world. I mean, nothing like can bring my son back. I just wish I could get him back.
Ezekiel was killed last week. His mother and her boyfriend have been accused of first-degree murder in connection with the little boy's death. Harry says there were times he was concerned when his kids were with their mother.
Like, I've been fighting to get them from her, and because of our past, of like what I've dealt with her, like whipping them for the smallest thing, but it'll be like a big whipping.
And wants Ezekiel's mom to take accountability for what happened.
You shouldn't still be speechless to it, even with the jail call that I received from her yesterday. And I asked her, I was like, well, can you tell me just a few details, like what happened? And she just bust out crying.
To cope with the pain, Harry is in counseling. He says no matter what, Ezekiel will always be with him.
Just his presence, like, that was my boy, and still is my boy. I carry him with me, and I realized I carried him with me today at counseling. I carry him with me.
Jordan Lippincott, WGNO News.
Retretta says, Auntie, I grew up with this verse in my heart, this saying in my heart and mind. That is to put God first. I learned to do that, and I started seeing the changes in my life. That's it. It's very simple. It don't take a whole lot of foaming at the mouth and rolling all through the pews and tarrying all night to speak in tongues. He made it very simple. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believeth in him, just believe, shall not perish, but have everlasting life. It don't take a rocket scientist. It ain't complicated. That's what religion has done. It's confused and muddied the waters. Do anybody remember that case out of Kansas City, Precious Doe? The mother was from Oklahoma, but the stepfather unalived the child in Kansas City. Read about that story, Auntie. I might just do that. I might just do that. But this story right here, along with the story about little Emmanuel, they're so parallel. It's just so parallel. I'm going to play one more video for you.
Well, Terrebonne Parish prosecutors will seek the death penalty against a Houma mother and her boyfriend in the death of her 2-year-old son, Ezekiel Harry. Good evening and thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Ezekiel's father and other family members spent hours in court today in Homa. Mike McDaniel has the details from the courthouse.
Ezekiel Harry's father wore a t-shirt with pictures of the 2-year-old on it. Directly across from him on the other side of the courtroom were Maya Jones and Jermaine Robinson in red jumpsuits and in handcuffs. Both are accused of killing Ezekiel. Today, we learned the prosecution will seek the death penalty against them both. This court hearing centered around 33 motions filed by defense attorneys. They mostly dealt with evidence and witnesses moving forward in this case. At one point, the prosecution accused the defense of trying to control the case. Ezekiel's body was found in a trash can back in mid-July. Jones initially said her son was abducted, but later that day, both she and Robinson were charged with murder. Through all of the legal back and forth, family members of Ezekiel Harry just want this process to move forward and get an answer to the biggest question they have: why?
We see in reality, this is the process. The crime happened, now we got to move forward. But at the same time, we got to figure out how to enjoy the holiday season as a family and also as a community.
I'm still trying to figure out why a 2-year-old, and why did you do that? What he did so bad for you to harm him like that? I don't think I'm ever find out the truth, but I hope we will.
The judge set another hearing for January 5th to hash out the remaining issues that were brought up during this hearing. A tentative court date is set for March 20th. Reporting from Terrebonne Parish, Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
And of course, March has come and gone. Still nothing. They just keep kicking the can down the road. Now, it has been said that one reason given that this boy suffered the way he did was no patience in potty training. No patience in potty training. You unalived a 2-year-old because he didn't catch on quick enough for you. Man. Unbelievable. Hi, Juanita. How are you, sweetheart? Oh, Jesus. Well, this one done took a lot out of me right now. So I just ask that we all pray for these families, the families that are left behind to mourn these babies. Too much. Well, y'all, I really thank you guys for coming this evening. I know this should have been game night, but there's an urgency in the air. The Love Bug says, Auntie Mickey in chat, I'm so upset I have to go. 12 p.m. Saturday here. Thank you all for having me. As I said, very special. Thank you, Love Bug. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't let this be your last time. Don't let this be your last time. So with that said, let's just love one another and take responsibility. Let's all take responsibility for what we need to do for the sake of these babies. And y'all hit the like button on your way out the door. No, Magnificent. I didn't hear anything about a trucker that was found unalived. I love you too, Faith. I love all you all. So until we meet again, I will be back on Monday. Maybe this weekend. I'm supposed to be going somewhere this weekend. And I figure I took you last weekend. I'll take you this weekend. So just keep your notifications on. And hey, no, down south, I appreciate you sharing it with me so I could share it with everyone else. We're going to stay on top of this. And Barbara, I will probably go live over the weekend. It just won't be this. I'm going to take y'all out on the weekend. I'm supposed to be going fishing with some church function, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fisher. I'll cook it. I'll eat it, but I don't catch it. But we're going to be barbecuing and stuff like that. So I like taking my kinfolk with me. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you soon. Good night.
Hey Mickey. Oh Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you're on my mind. Oh Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you. Oh Mickey, you're so fine. Hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing.